Okay, so she said that if stuff happens in Christian's life, that it's not the devil's fault. So whose fault is it? Okay, let's listen to her first.
Christians will tell you that they've given their life to Christ, but then when and if something goes wrong in their life, they blame the devil. Like, make it make sense. It's like when I put my money in the bank, right? The bank gave me assurance that my money is going to be safe. If a robber breaks into that bank and they steal my money amongst other people's money, am I supposed to be looking for the robber or the bank and asking? Because now they might give my money to. A lot of the mentality, a lot of the beliefs, a lot of the thinking fashion that we find in people that are practicing these religions, if you bring these same scenarios to them, but remove the religious factor from it, right, and then table it like a real life situation, you would watch these people give a totally different response to it. Totally different response, which then brings us back to this conversation of how you have to like really shut your brain to be practicing this thing. You just can't be critically thinking when you are religious. It's impossible. You have to shut your brain off to a very large extent for the madness to make sense. Because if you want to be 100% with it, if the devil still have access to your life after you've given it to Christ, it's either one, God handed your life to the devil like he did with Job. That happens, but nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to admit how it was God that gave the devil access to Job's life, or the devil to be able to do all the fuck up things that he did to Job. Nobody wants to hold God accountable for that decision. No, it's the devil's fault. But if we should turn this on, which they don't like to do in the religion, it is not encouraged in the religion, because once you turn it off and turn it on, the entire thing shuts down. So let's turn it on, at least for this video. If you give your life to Christ or Jesus and something wrong is going on with your life, the devil is still having access to it. It's God that either invited him in like he did with the devil for Job's situation, so he can come mess with your life, or it's just like full on careless with your life. That's what it means. So I'm not sure how is the devil's fault that the person you told, or the being, the God, whatever you told to take care of your life is not taking care of your life properly. I'm not sure how it's the devil's fault for come messing with something that is not being looked after properly.
Okay, so she apparently said a lot of things here, and I'm going to look at it. I'm going to try to focus on one thing. So she said, is it the devil's fault or is it God's fault if something is going wrong with your life and you gave your life to God? And I'm going to attempt to make her understand how the earth works, because I believe that there are a lot of Christians that don't understand the way the world works, and they don't understand that when you give your life to Christ, it's not like you gave him a house and the house is locked, the gate is padlocked, and he's outside the gate. When you give your life to Christ, you ought to give him the house. That means he can open any door and enter any room. That's, you've given him access. Now, a lot of us as believers don't give God complete access. How do I mean? For example, me, the first year I gave my life to Christ, I was like, God, I love you and everything. I love worship experience. I love prayer. Now, why can't I give my life to you and still get to wear my mini skirts? Or why can't I give my life to you and still get to do whatever I want with my day? It takes a level of maturity to know that when you surrendered your life to Jesus, that by yourself you ought to give him, how do I put it now? That's not sound. You ought to give him time. You ought to spend time with him. Let me use another example. Let's assume you get married to somebody, but this person you are married to, you don't see the person, you don't even talk to the person for more than 1 minute in a day. That's 24 hours. You only talk to him for that 1 minute, and that you expect in that 1 minute that your relationship should be cold. But what you give to him every single day is 1 minute. As in, once you get up in a day, you just give him 1 minute. Once you count 60 seconds, you say, hey, I've done my bit for the day. And then you move on and continue living your own life. When you surrender your life to the Lord, it's a, can I put it? For our sake, it's a process. A continuous giving until after that. No, I'm not talking about money now, giving of yourself. Until after a while, you actually belong to God and you don't want to do anything without him being pleased, being happy about what you are doing. That's the giving. Because let me go back to the first context I use. If it's like a house and it's outside the gates, if there's grass growing inside the house, you don't know. You can't come and cut the grass or to make sure everywhere is maintained because it doesn't have access to the house. So per se, if the devil sneaks in through over the wall, he doesn't know because you didn't give him the key to the gate to enter. You have not allowed him free. What's that word? You know when there's some friends in your life that they know that they can tell you anything, and then there are also some other friends that they tiptoe around you because you've not given them free reign. They know they can't speak to you freely. Meanwhile, there's some other friends that they will give you knuckle sandwich. They will knock your head because of the closeness. When it comes to salvation, God should have that level of closeness. So I say this to say that when you are on the earth and God is in heaven, you are on the earth, devil is in spiritual realm. It is the amount of permission you give to God in your life that will allow him freedom to walk in your life. It's also the amount of permission you give to the devil in your life that will have him freedom to walk in your life. How do we give this permission? We give the permission by the words we say with our mouth. Let me use a very simple example that is used in Nigeria. Like Nigerians was like, hey, I fell. Hey, I would have fallen. Hey, I would have, mogbeo, moko, God forbid. But, when you say those kind of words, you kind of give the devil permission. Then also as a believer, there's some words you say, maybe when you get up in the morning, you just say, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And now it might look like there's nothing in your life for you to be rejoicing about or to be glad about. So you are saying until you see it, you will not say it. But in the kingdom life, it's until you say it that you will see it. Because this world is kind of upside down. And the people that get to rule a life are people that will choose to agree with God and say what he said. Sometimes if you are waiting to see something before you say it, you may never see it. But in the kingdom life, if you are willing to say something before you see it, gradually as your mind begins to receive that thing you are saying, it starts changing and transforming your environment, your person, your life, those words you are saying and receiving. And let's assume that you are a robot and you want to program your mind. Those words you are saying, the more you say them, the more it will affect your external. That thing that you believe inside will affect your external. That's just how the kingdom works. So what was I saying earlier? That there are words you say that will give God permission to work in your life. There are words that you will say that will give devil permission to work in your life. Now this thing works consciously or subconsciously. So what's my answer to that girl's question now? Is that it's the devil's fault when something goes wrong. It has absolutely nothing to do with God. But it's also the person's fault, because that means that you stayed in that state. What the devil did, you stayed there and you weren't willing to stand up and do anything to change it. This is something I've learned in my life. If you engage truths and declare truths, it will make you free. But if you say the truth, maybe you said the truth in 1997, and then you're now grumbling in 2007 that the truth has not set me free. That truth I said in 1997, I opened my mouth and I said it in 1997, and now I'm in 2024. That truth didn't set me free. No, but when something is true, you tell yourself over and over again. You don't stop telling yourself. You speak, oh, I am loved by God. Oh, I am made in the likeness of God. Oh, I am blessed and highly favored. Oh, I have purpose in God. God created me for a purpose. He made me for a purpose. Oh, God have created me to give him pleasure. and you embrace this truth, it will change your life. And if you truly embrace this truth, you'll not be thinking about what devil did, what God did, who is right, who is wrong. You'll be engaging the life that God has called you to live and living it. Yeah. So what's my conclusion? If something bad happens, it's the devil. What's the good news? You can do something about it. You can change what you are saying and change the circumstances around you. See you in the next video.